President Bola Tinubu on Tuesday said Nigeria aims to raise its infrastructure stock to 70% of the country's gross domestic product by 2043, in line with the federal government's long-term development strategy. The president, who was represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima at the 2025 Nigeria Public-Private Partnership Summit held in Abuja, said the National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan remains the administration's guiding framework for increasing infrastructure investment. The National Bureau of Statistics has reported a 28.98% rise in the average cost of farm produce between January and May 2025. Signaling a deepening crisis in Nigeria's agricultural sector. According to the NBS, the price index for farm produce surged from 110.5% in January to 142.53% in May 2025. This sharp increase, particularly pronounced in May, highlights the mounting pressure on local food prices, largely driven by worsening insecurity in the country. It helps to assess inflation or deflation by comparing the current price of the selected items to their price in a base period. The NBS data shows a steady rise in the price of farm produce from January to May. In January, the price index stood at 110.5%, and by February, it had increased by 1.77% to 112.46%. The index rose by another 2.65% in March to 115.43%, before a smaller increase of 0.88% in April, bringing the price to 116.46%. However, the most alarming surge occurred between April and May, when the price jumped by 22.28% to 142.53%. The increase highlights the underlying disruptions in agricultural production, which has been attributed to the ongoing insecurity that has crippled farming activities in various parts of the country, especially in the food basket of the nation, Benue State. Fitch Ratings has raised serious concerns over the mounting risk facing Nigerian banks, citing excessive exposure to government debt and restrictive monetary policies by the Central Bank of Nigeria as critical threats to the sector's stability and profitability. The global ratings agency estimates that sovereign-related assets such as treasury bills, bonds, and unremunerated reserves account for 35% of total banking sector assets and an alarming 350% of total equity. Fitch warned that this high concentration exposes the sector to systematic risk in the event of a sovereign default. Speaking during a webinar co-hosted with Renaissance Capital, Fitch Director for African Banks, Tim Slater, stated that Nigerian banks are also being weighed down by the CBN's steep 50% cash reserve ratio, CRR, which requires banks to place a significant portion of their Naira deposit with the Apex Bank without earning interest. I am Belinda Mwobodo.